What's up? What's up, everyone? What's happening? What's going on? What will be going on? This is the Sugarhill Gang Podcast, and I am your host, the MAS, the TER, the G with the double E, the unforgettable Master G. And I'm joined by my man, Pots and Pans, Hen Diggity, Diggity Dog. Say, what's up, Hen Dig Dog? What's up?
Baby? No doubt.
Ladies and gentlemen, now hold on. Hold on. Realness up in the house today.
Man,
we got the deep sensation going on today. Yo, this is big time right here, Head. Now hey, ladies and gentlemen, you got to put it together, understand who we get ready to break. Chali 2na from Jurassic 5. Oh my God, what's up, man?
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate this, man. That's
Chali!
Yes, sir.
What?
Yeah, man.
Yo, man.
Thank you for having me.
Hold on. Hold up. Stop. Listen, we got this podcast thing going on, right? We try to do this techno thing, this new school type flow thing. And man, it's and I say this with love. If we and I see this now as us, we are the tree that has sprouted, all these different vines, and there are so many leaves to these veins and these roots, and it just keeps on going and it keeps on going. And one of the greatest gifts that I have been given is to be able to do this thing right here with my boys, but more importantly, man, to be able to talk to people, man, that have just taken this hip hop music or rap thing. And so you are one of them guys, man. Come on now.
Oh,
you one of them guys.
I appreciate that. Man, that's to hear you say that to me is like blowing my head off. So please forgive me. It's a little vibes overload. If I could just stop it and just going. You know what I mean? You know what I'm doing, man. I apologize. Thank you, man. For real.
Listen, man. Again, I'm finding so much. I'm getting so much pleasure, man, to talk to people like you, man. That you have done so much for the music. You've done so much for the culture. You've made so many things happen for so many people. You've touched so many people's lives. And to feel in any way, shape, or form, man, that we have had an opportunity or even a part to do with anything considered by you, man, is crazy. So yeah.
Are you kidding? Let me tell you something, man. I got so many stories. First of all, let me tell you, it is an honor, privilege, pleasure, or anything that I can say that's highly regarded about you guys, even to be here. First and foremost, the first record that I ever said, okay, before I get into the hip hop aspect of it, like when I was little on Sundays, my mom, my grandmother, and everybody would clean up. Like grandma go to church, come back, then clean up the house, and then my mom and them would be like, "All right, baby, go play that record." Play this record. So I grab the records and this and the third. Which one? Number 3, such and such, that kind of thing, right? Now, the only record and the first record I ever asked to buy was y'all record. I'm like, Mom, it's 1979. So I'm like,
that's right.
I'm like, creeping on 9, 8.5, creeping on 9. And I'm like, Mama, she was like, we was in a record store, I remember. She was like, yo, you want me to buy your record, baby? I was like, yeah, can I get the rappers, the hip, the hip, that record that be on the radio? She was like, yeah. And then she asked the dude, he pulled out the blue record, and I was like looking at the cover like, whoa, right? Took it with me, took it home. Man, I wore that record out. But what was cool, this is my second cool story. What was cool was I was riding the school bus at the time, and our driver had to be the biggest fan of y'all's, right? Because he got y'all stuff recorded off the radio, the long version, right? The 12 minutes. Is it 12 minutes?
15.
He recorded 15. Okay, he recorded
15.
And put it on his 60-minute tape on both sides, filled it up. One song, right? Pop it on his tape deck, and he would ride. He would drive the students.
How'd it go? How'd it start off, Charlie? How'd it start off? Start it off. Go ahead.
What you hear is not a test. Come on, man. Now, but here's the crazy part. It got really cool because we started to expect him to do that. So he started to have everybody participate. He would play the song, and then he would have people take parts. And then he would be like, you know what I'm saying? Can you make it mean something to you? So we would like learn how to like change our raps into stuff that meant stuff for us. It was kind of training like early. I'm like 8, 9 years old, and I'm tripping it. But I loved y'all records so much, you know what I'm saying? It was that kind of thing. So once again, flash forward. If somebody would told me I was going to be on a podcast talking like Dick Tracy over phones to you guys,
no, man,
I wouldn't have believed it. So thank you, man.
No, seriously, man. Seriously. No, the cool thing, you know, because we're doing this, man. We're making this move, man. We punch hyperspace, and I call it, you know, the magnitude of us. This is a kind of the thing that I've never really understood, the magnitude of us. I never did. You know, this has been a journey for me from the beginning till now to understand, because, you know, there was so much like negative stuff connected to us, and then, you know, then there was I was away for a long, you know, not locked up, but I was gone. I was away from this whole thing, and then all the stuff that went behind it. So a lot of the power of it got lost for me. You know, I came back in 2005, and with that time that we've been back together and put this version of it together, it's become an awakening for me. You know what I mean? And so, you know, like I said, you know, I mean, just tell us, I mean, and tell the fans, man, because, and I'm sure people know who Jurassic 5 is and Chali 2na, but just give us, like, just for that cat that might be, you know, living on a rock somewhere, just give us a little bit about how you got started, what you've done, you know, give us that 411, give us the, you know, turn us on.
Well, I'm gonna try to do it in a nutshell because it's pretty cool. It's a career that expands about almost 30 years now, and I'm proud to say that. I'm tripping on that. But anyway, like I said, I'm originally from Chicago. My boy keep texting me. I apologize. Originally from Chicago, South Side. You know what I'm saying? My mama from Cabrini Green. I'm from Ida B. Wells Projects. Blah blah blah. House music saturated our situation.
Yes.
I always called that my uncles in their music because that's what they was listening to. Going to parties with Ron Hardy and Farley Keith and all these dudes, right?
Yep.
Hot Mix 5 on the radio. I do remember Grandmaster Flash and a couple of other DJs from New York coming to Chicago and doing like I would say a sound clash kind of battle at a house party. It was crazy. I wasn't there. I was too young, but I remember all the people in my neighborhood talking about it. You know, this is me as a kid. But anyway, I got into it, like I said, all of that stuff was going on. Chicago saturated in super gangs, you know what I'm saying? You either one side or the other. And I'm just a kid being recruited on, but I wasn't really about that kind of stuff, but it was all in my family. A guy moved to my neighborhood in my complex, 2 doors down from me, named Dave, and he was from the Bronx, right? So his story was that his family moved because the building that they lived in burned down. Like they went to visit somebody, I guess, and he said some of his family was from Yonkers or something like that. I don't know.
From the Bronx.
He said they went to go visit their family, and then they when they came back, their building was on fire, burnt up, and this and the third, and they had nowhere to go. Eventually, they gathered up loot and they moved to Chicago, right? So he used to always brag to me about how New York was better than Chicago, and how the gangs in Chicago ain't got it right yet because the ones in New York would battle, you know, and fight with dances. And I'm just like, whatever, man. Like, come on, man. They don't even sound right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So y'all old enough to know. So I'll be telling this story sometimes when people interview me. One day I'm watching TV and That's Incredible comes on. Remember That's Incredible?
Of course.
So Fran Tarkington is like, you know, today on That's Incredible, we travel to the Bronx where gangs have settled their differences by dancing. I'm like looking at the TV like, wait a minute, what? Hold on, wait, is this what my dude was talking about? Okay, cool. So by the end of the program, my head's blown. Now I could already like draw and stuff. And I was like, you know, copying my the album covers that my mom and them would tell me to go change on Sundays and all that old stuff, right? So I was like practicing comic books, things like that. You know what I mean? But after that program, I went to his crib. I'm like, please tell me everything. So he started dropping it to me. He showed me photo albums of trains he took pictures of from his window. And all of this stuff before it really started to spill over. And I was just overload, like, wow. But I wanted to learn how to use a spray can the way I saw what I was looking at in these pictures. I was like, dude, if you can do that with spray paint, then, you know what I'm saying, it's over for me. You know what I'm saying? So I got into it from that perspective alone. I was just trying to learn graffiti. But then it was so many house DJs around my way and young dudes that had access to DJ equipment when hip hop started to spill in from y'all record to like, you know what I'm saying, Mel and Grandmaster Flash and then Record and all that stuff started to spill in and get into our stuff. Everybody wanted to get into the hip hop thing, you know what I'm saying? So especially all my little friends, my friends that was my age. So, we just started to like dabble here and there, but I was the resident, artist. Whereas I had a couple of dudes that was dancers, and then my dude Arky was the DJ, and then, you know what I'm saying? It was like that. And then I just said, forget it. I started trying my hand as little other things start to spill out. I remember when Sharon and Marley's record, then actually when Pebbly Pooh record came out, I'm like, yo, this is cool. Then when Sharon and Marley record came out, then when Roxanne, Shantae, and when the Roxannes came out, then Roxanne, Shantae, and all that stuff, when all that stuff started spilling, I was just like, let me see if I can try everything to see if I'm good at other things beside, drawing. Because I'm hopping on trains, trying to go up on the north side and kick it with the Puerto Rican brothers, paint on everything. Yeah, I said at this time.
Right.
But I discovered that I could rap on an accident. This girl that I like named Tasha, I was scared to talk to. Her and her sister was outside, and a couple of my friends had heard y'all record and was doing what we always do. This goes back to you guys. It's so beautiful that I'm talking about this and I'm talking it to you. So, like I said, we used to always try to take y'all words and make them belong to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm the man, they call it the Chali T. Hey, instead of, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? They was doing that, but then they would change it to like bags. They was like talk junk about you as you walk past, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Look at that dude with the hair, they snapping on each other, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like looking at the crowd this one night. There's a viaduct up under our building where I lived. I lived 27. It was a thing. You can go up under there, and a lot of kids would kick it under there. They drink their little beer, smoke their little weed, and you know what I'm saying, in summer nights, and the girls be down there. That's what it was. So I walked down there, and it was a crowd down there, and they was listening to the rap. And I'm like, okay. But I see my my girl that I like. I'm like, man, there goes Tasha right there. So I'm just listening. They turn their eyes to me, and they just start snapping on me. And I'm just like, I'm like the blunt. Everybody laughing. They laughing. My whole the girl that I like laughing. I'm just like embarrassed. I was just like, I'm out. I left. But I was mad and embarrassed at the same time. And I went upstairs and let the fury get me. And I grabbed a piece of paper and I filled the whole front page and the back page up with what I could rap, with all the rhymes that I could make to diss them. And I memorized it. 2 weeks later, the exact same thing happened. This time, I purposely put myself in the line of fire. Right. So yeah, fellas, hey, let me try. They're like, man, you can't rap, shorty. I was like, I'm gonna try, because I'm gonna try to get y'all back the last time. They was like, all right. So everybody started clapping their hands. I started firing it off. I can't even remember the rap no more. And every punchline, I was getting and that alone was like what got me like forever. Like,
I hooked you.
Whatever is hip hop, I'm on it.
That's great. That's a great story. No, that's all. Hey, and so and you know what the cool thing about being a rapper, and you can appreciate this because now I just hear that story, is that when it works. You get immediate either praise or you get immediate
so true, man. So true.
Hey, if you rocking, if you rocking, the people are like, oh my God, this guy is crazy. But if you suck, they're gonna be like, get out, go. Hey, it's the Roy's fault. On that face. Hey, you cannot front when it comes to rocking. I mean, it's just what it is. Am I right?
You're totally right, man. It's instant gratification or instant disrespect. One of the two. For real.
Right. You hit it. Hey, yo, You be doing the joint and be like cricket. Like,
Oh,
man,
that's the worst.
I'm
Don't quit shit, y'all.
They shift gears.
And you know it's a trip, man. Now in this day and age of COVID, I've in these 8 months I got to do actually live in person 3 shows.
Yeah,
and they were just like 2 of them were guest appearances and 1 was an actual show. And to see, for us to be MCs and to feed off the energy of the crowd, and to now hear how the crowd has to be kind of silent because it's so distant and less people. It's a trip. It's like, wait, am I, you know what I mean? Do I still got it? Like, what's going on?
And it's funny you said that because we did 1 performance. I think we did like a performance in the summer, but we haven't really been out. You know what I mean? So one, and it's like you said, one of the things that I'm apprehensive about is because everything about the show is energy and connection and making noise and being loud, and that's really the determination of a great show as opposed to a good show. And it's going to be a very interesting journey to get back in front of the public, man, and but create that, but with different methodologies. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes,
sir.
Sir.
We have, you as a performer and that there's a whole science to doing a live performance. You've performed all over the world like we've performed all over the world. There's a science to it, man. There's a science. You go, like, one of the places that I've always found to be tough is Amsterdam. Like, I've gone to, for some reason, and I don't know why, man, but for some reason, man, you know what I'm saying, right?
I know exactly what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying, Charlie. You've been, for some reason, man, they be hard to turn, man. You know what I'm saying? But then you could go like to Leeds in London, man, and in the UK, the Leeds, and they be
it's a whole nother story. Yep.
Right. Yeah. So you have to create ways. Like now that that I have been there so many times, it's like when we do Amsterdam or stuff in the Netherlands, I'm always before the show, I'm like, okay, let me figure out, I got to go to, where I can get immediate response, where I know I can get them to rock. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, it's going to be that way now every night.
For every place.
Yeah, everywhere, everywhere, because there is going to be so much of an adjustment. You know what I'm saying, man? Like you said, it's so much of an adjustment from the way live shows were done, a year ago till now, man.
So
true.
So Charlie, tell me, man, how did you guys come up with the name Jurassic 5, and how was it that what caused you to transition? Why did you go underground, or was that your purpose? From the beginning.
Okay, let's answer the first one first. Okay,
yeah,
the Jurassic 5 name came from, it was an actual accident. We were 2 groups. I have to tell the story of the Good Life. Now, the Good Life in the time of and the reign of gangster rap, right? So from around, like, let's say 89 to like 93, around that time, we were really like, anybody in Los Angeles who was trying to get a record deal and trying to get known with rap, if you didn't have any kind of ties or wasn't just directly doing gangster rap, then the labels was not checking for you. It's just what it was. Everybody wanted, you guys know, just wanted.
I remember.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They wanted another NWA, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
So we had no outlet other than like the open mic places, and thank God for a place called The Good Life. Bless Sister B Hall and Sister Khadijah and all these people who got together, the old school, like, Panther heads and stuff from Los Angeles, who got together, opened up. They already had what was it? It's a health food spot. It was a health food spot,
right? And
it could legally only hold about 75 people, right? But they had that place, and they decided to throw open mic night every Thursday night, and we would all come down. Like I said, the place could only hold 75 people. It had a little small stage. It introduced hood inner city dudes to like wheatgrass and all of this type of stuff. And the parking lot would have 400-500 people in it. You know what I'm saying? Because the talent was just that serious. And it was all these people, all these kids who was trying to do the hip hop thing, but wasn't trying to be gangsters. Okay. So around that time, myself, Mark 7, and Cut Chemist, who are 3 members of Jurassic 5, were a group called the Unity Committee, right? We were our own little thing, you know what I'm saying? Doing backyard parties and this and that third. And a friend of ours had told us about the Good Life. So we started going there. We were going there for a couple years. We had got known along with another group called Dark Leaf. And we were just like, you know, just doing our part in that scene as well as learning. We were learning a lot of things about showmanship and all of that stuff. It was cool. You know what I'm saying? It was a really cool spot to hone your craft. You know what I mean? You couldn't curse, things like that. You know what I mean? So you had to do what you could do with the parameters. You know what I mean? So it was really dope. And within that time of us being there, you would meet all these different cool groups, and some artists would come from New York and different places because the record labels would hear about the place and know that it was kind of the place to be. So people like Fat Joe showed up, Biz Markie, like, you know, so just all these different people, right? But we met this other group called the Rebels of Rhythm, which was Akil, Dakir, and a brother, rest in peace, named Sean Africa, who would have been the other deep voice dude in Jurassic 5 had, you know, the calamity that happened to him not happened to him. But we saw them perform and we were like, yo, these dudes is hard. Now here's the scenario. Unity Committee, we patterned ourselves after Run DMC, so to speak, because it was a kind of 2 MC crew, and we was doing like these little quick trades with the mic, but trying to be real technical about it, right? And our DJ, Cut Chemist, was like real sharp on the cuts. He was ridiculous. You know, Cut Chemist, right? So the Rebels of Rhythm were like the other side of that aspect. Those dudes, one Dakir, the brother Dakir in our group, still to this day, I got super love for the fact this dude could sing. We could hold notes. That dude could sing, right? So their group had this harmony to them that sounded cold crush, and we were like, you know, in Los Angeles, hearing these dudes do this, we was like, whoa, this is crazy. So they liked our performances. They had a live performance too. They liked our performance. We liked theirs. They had linked up with us one night and we was talking, wanted to do a song. And that was kind of the nature of all of us at the Good Life, was trying to pair up and do songs and see what good would come out of it, you know? We said, okay, cool, let's do it. So my DJ Cut did the beat and was like, I'll give y'all this beat, but you got to promise to let my dudes on. He was like, all right, cool. So we all got together and we did this song that we entitled Unified Revolution. We liked it because it was a Unity Committee, Rebels of Rhythm, Unified Revolution. It was cool. It had both of our styles in it. The song is old school. It's the first song we ever did. And we noticed when we played it to people, when we performed, it would get more love than anything we did individually, right? So while we were shopping deals, we said our promise to each other was, we'll have it on our demo. Y'all have it on y'all's. Whoever get it popping first, we'll put it on there. We keep it moving. It'll be like this big native tongue. Let's keep it going, you know? So it didn't really happen like that. One, the dude who I was telling you who can sing, he also worked for a lot of different record labels around Los Angeles doing mix show calling. You know, he would call the mix shows and try to, you know what I'm saying, promote the records of whatever record label he was working for at the time. So he had his hand and his foot in the business kind of when we wasn't. We was just doing the music. So he had got a call. He got a call from somebody from TVT Records out in New York, and because I guess they found him because we took that record, put money in, and pressed up 500 copies and just gave it to people. You know, gave it to any famous person we could. I got 2 copies to like Maceo from De La Soul because I was at a concert, you know, that kind of thing. Somehow TBT got a copy of the record and they called Soup. Soup is Doc here, same name. They called Soup. Soup hollered at us. They wanted to put the record out. We was like, oh, okay, cool. So this leads to the I'm sorry I'm so long-winded, but
no, it's okay.
We do all of this stuff with the label. We get it all legitimized and everything. The contract and this, it was just a 12-inch deal. It was all good, but it was, you know, some dudes like, wow, we getting the deal together, fellas. That's what's up, right?
Right.
So here comes the crazy part. The label says, okay, what do? We call you guys the Unified Revolution? What is that your name? And we would all look at each other like. You got no name. He was like, let us get back to you on that before you think this deal. It was weird. In a couple days, I had played the song I was living, me and my son's mom at the time. We ain't together no more, but we was living together 11 years of, love, lies, and fears, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
But we was living together at the time, and she could play piano, she could sing. She's musically inclined as it is. So I used to always use her as one of my filters and play her stuff. Right.
Right.
I played her the song. She was like, I seen her rock, and she was like, "Oh, this is cool." Blah, blah, blah. She got off, but she had this the driest sense of humor still to this day. She was like, "That was good. Y'all think y'all sound like the Fantastic Five. Y'all sound more like the Jurassic Five." I walked out the room, and I was like,
"There it is." That sound like it.
I was like, "Yo, fellas," I got everybody on the three where I was like, "All right, listen, I got the name. Ready?" But it was 6 of us. Jurassic 5. Everybody's like, "Yo, that's it." But wait, it's 6 of us. And I was like, "That's it. That's the selling point. When the interviewers ask us a question about that, we got something to talk about and kick it off first." Everybody was like, let's run. And that was that.
Nice. Hold up, Charlie. We got one more guy coming on. We got one more guy coming in. Our other dude, Hind of T Dynasty. He the motorcycle man. Yeah.
That's right. That's what's up.
Goddamn motorcycle. Come on, man. Come on in here. We're gonna introduce you to Charlie. Temp, where you at?
Yo.
There you go.
Oh, that's a voice right there, boy. Listen to that voice.
Yo, what's up, man?
What up, Charlie?
We saw each other over in Europe, fam.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking at you like, I know this brother back here. Yeah. How you doing, man?
All right, now, baby.
Yeah.
Man, so thank y'all for that night, man, in Europe, man. That was crazy, man. That night in Europe was nuts.
D, you ever thought about what it would be like if you were like half motorcycle, like
oh my God,
on the top, legs on the bottom.
Oh my God.
Like the monkeys in the Wiz.
I'm sorry, Charlie. Let me apologize for my colleagues, man.
Hey, listen, I am.
Oh my God. Moving right along. I want Charlie. I definitely want to get into this because you are, of course, the lead vocalist with the group, and you have a distinct sound. You know what I mean? And in our group, I kind of have a distinct sound. Did you realize? Because with me, I didn't realize that I had an identifiable sound. Like people would always tell me, "Man, you got a great voice. Your voice sounds so good." And of course, like you said, what really got me going was when the girls would start. They'd be like, "Oh, he sounds so sexy. Oh my God, woo!" And then come out on stage and you start going into your thing, and they start screaming the whole 9 yards. And so I actually kind of started honing it in. Where was your experience with that? Because the voice is a big deal.
Yeah, man. My voice changed when I was 13, right? It got deep, like deeper than it was, you know what I'm saying? And I was like tripping onto myself on some, Bobby Brady kind of thing. But my
when it's
for real,
time to change.
You know what I'm saying? For real, dog. But like I'm trying to think within the group, I think or just the context of the music itself. I always paid attention to the guy with the smoothest, like lowest tone, I would say. So I don't know why that is. Even before hip hop, I was like attracted to like songs that had heavy bass lines to them. You know what I mean? And things of that nature. So I just something that I liked. And when my voice kind of like turned that way, I started to realize it, like listening to cats like Rakim, like, wait a minute, or Kane, like, okay, so these dudes is using their thing. It's not like just I'm rapping words, but I'm actually taking tones and making the tone actually work as an accent as well as what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. You know what I mean? So I'm like trying to digest this stuff, but not really understanding it. And then, truthfully, the tone of the voice stuff started to come in when I noticed how naturally all 4 of our voices sounded together in Jurassic 5 without us trying. Like I said, we didn't know how to sing or where notes was and things of that nature. Only one of us kind of did, and without him having to give direction or anything like that, we would just try stuff. And because of the timbres of our voice, it would naturally sound cool. And we used to trip on that, like, man, this is nuts, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when we would take our solos, you know, live, I started to see this, especially because we would test our stuff out at the place called The Good Life. So
Right.
I started to see the reaction. I started to see the reaction from the women. You know what I'm saying? But really, I started to see the reaction, and me being called Tuna also kind of got it. It was weird because I noticed that dudes would always be like, "What's your name again?" Oh, but the women will remember, like, that's that dude they call Tuna. And I'm like, hey, I got something here, and I don't know how this happened, but it happened. So I'm gonna just run with it, and I'm gonna try to figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as far as like the style and things of that nature, like I watched, like I said, I watched Rakim, I watched Kane, I watched Chill Rob G, I watched Mel, like, you know what I'm saying, Kaz, you know what I mean? And we got kidnapped by Kaz one night. I if that's cool, I'll tell y'all that's a whole nother story.
Absolutely.
It's incredible. It's an incredible story, but it was kidnapped. It really was.
That sounds like something Kaz would do. But the reason why I asked you that is because, you know, a lot of times what I've always tried to express to people, because people ask, well, you know, what are your thoughts when you write, and what are your thoughts when you perform? And a lot of times I have to express to people that the tone that you use when you're rocking, you know, there are so many different, you know, it's frequencies. You know what I'm saying? And
yes.
I know I'm going with some of my smarter people in the band going with. I've never really used it or spoke this way, but I know. Look at Diamond's face. But I know. But especially when it comes to the female ear, there's certain frequencies that get a response out of the female ear. And if you listen to, like you said, like, for example, when you listen to Luther do those, that frequency goes to a certain place in the female ear, you know.
Sure.
So if you're trying to, or if you like, so when I'm working to really lock in to my payload, you know what I mean? Because like my bread and butter are always the women. It always has been, and it even to this day. You know, that's why I tell people, as long as they keep oohing and on when I hit the stage, I'm doing it right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
right.
Here we are, you know, 58, 59 years old later, it still works for me. You know what I mean?
Amazing,
but it's the frequencies that you learn, you know, after a period of time, you know, that they, in recording and in performing. You know what I mean? When you want to get something really going, and when you really want to make, I call it the lock. When you want to really lock with your people, man, you have to be able to be aware of the frequencies that your voice is allowed to do. And if you have that, like you have a signature sound, I wanted to, you know, talk to you about that from one artist to another to see if you know, what your experience with that is, because that's been my experience even more so. And this is even weird, like, because if you listen to like the early Sugar Hill stuff, I was 17, 18, 19, 20 years old when I started cutting those songs. And now, you know, as a man, like the stuff that we've done later on, even the performances, you know, the way I sounded on stage at 17, I don't sound that way anymore. You know what I mean? And, but the thing that people say, which is the biggest compliment in the world, is to be like, yo, man, when you opened up your mouth and your voice and you started, I knew it was you. You know what I mean? Like I could go to a venue and walk around the venue all day long. People not pay attention, not say two words to me, blah, 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 blah. But we get up on that stage and get onto the first, we H Wonder, and I'm like, I'm the Master G. And they be like, wait a minute, that was
I know.
Like, yo, your voice, dog. They be like, your voice, man, like you, I knew it was you when you open your mouth. And that to me, and you know what I'm saying? That, Charlie, is that not one of the greatest compliments in the world?
It's the craziest thing. Here's an example. For me, this happened yesterday. I went to note here. I have not given any kind of free publicity to this company at all. Okay. But I'm in the drive-through at Chick-fil-A. Right.
Good food.
Drive-through. I'm chilling. And I'm, you know what I'm saying, listening to some music and this and the third. And I pull up, I order my food, and then you got to pull up again and you got to tell it to the girl what kind of sauce you want. Right. So she's like, what kind of sauce did you want, sir? I'm like, can I get the buffalo sauce, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, yeah, no problem. And then she steps back and she goes, I'm sorry, I got to tell you this. You have the voice like one of my favorite rappers. I looked at her, I was like, oh, word? Who's your favorite rapper? She was like, it's a guy named Chali 2na. He's from a group called Jurassic 5. And I just looked at her. I was like, yeah, I like that dude too, man. He is dope. And she was like, wait a minute. That's you. Oh my God. She started tripping out. And I was just like, whoa, this is bugged out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, man.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
so yeah,
man.
I know what you're saying, fam.
I do, man.
She didn't know how I look. She just heard, you know how I sound. So
and again, man, that is the essence of what this thing is all about, man. When you can evoke an emotion out of a total stranger, man, by the way you sound or something that you say or a piece of work that you put together, man, that is timeless, like your music, man. You know, you guys will be, you know, when it's 25, you know, and we are dust in the wind, you know what I'm saying? You know, people will know, man. People will be listening to our songs and be like, damn, his voice is crazy on this joint, man. That performance is boom, 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 or that, you know, and it once it gets into that, once you capture it, you know, once you capture it, man, it's crazy, man. It's so amazing. That's another gift that we share amongst ourselves. You know what I mean?
True.
You know, because that's what people don't understand a lot of times too. One of the privileges of being one of these people that perform and sing and record and write, and that the gift that you're able to share with another human being, you know, like I would see a natural synergy situation happening with us and y'all on stage together. You follow what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
Hey, Charlie, who's the crate digger?
Well, we got I killed Diggs for within the MCs. I killed Diggs for crates. The brother I was telling you about who could sing, Dakir, y'all should check him out too. He got a singing group called Fully Love. Y'all should check that out. The Fully Love Collective is crazy. But anyway, he digs in crates, but he doesn't really. I won't say he dig. He just like he got knowledge. I'll be tripping. I'll be asking him about a record. Oh, such and such song on that record, and blah blah blah. Play. You know, he's that kind of dude, right? As far as the two DJs, Newmark and Cut Chemist, are extreme. I ain't never seen nobody dig deeper than them dudes. I've never seen nobody do it like that. I stopped going record shopping with them dudes. You know
when you listen to the tracks and you get all into it, you just hear all the different things going on.
Yeah,
back and forth, and it's like it's almost like the old like tribe joints. You know, like you just heard it all over the place.
Yeah, Q-Tip, man. Speaking of a producer, yeah, I don't mean to cut you off, but you struck a chord. I had a conversation with Q-Tip one time, man. I went to a hip hop honors. I know I'm going off the rail here, but I can do that because it's our show. But Mike and I, again, it was just coming back. We did the hip hop honors, and it was this pre-party for the hip hop honors, and Q-Tip was the DJ. So you know, again, I hadn't been around, and this was like one of my first outings. So they tell him that I'm there. They're like, yeah, Master G, he's like, what? Because nobody had seen me, you know, nobody. So they bring me over to him, and I get into a conversation with him. And he says to me, he said, yo, G, what in the world? What's up with Passion Play? I said, what? Yeah, now I know. People don't even know Passion Play is a song on the Sugarhill Gang album, the first album we did. So Rappersdelight was the first record. Then we did the Sugarhill Gang album. So it was a Here I Am, Rappers Reprise, Jam, but there was a song on there called Passion Play. And it was mind blowing to me that this modern day, like, you know, he knew that song, man. He knew that song. So, you know, shout out to Q-Tip, man. I just wanted to say that.
Tip is a record digger for sure.
Yo, let me and then go into the songs and the music that he uses, man. The stuff that he comes up with, man, is a lot like y'all. You know, a lot like y'all.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I
appreciate it, man. There's so much to be said, man, in people who appreciate music, who produces music. You know, I don't know if I'm saying it properly, but you know, there's a lot to be said, man, because you are a person that exposes other people to the vibration.
Right.
So there's a certain amount of responsibility. It's like doing a show. To me, I got a responsibility, and I tell people this all the time. My responsibility is to perform for that guy or that girl who has never seen Sugarhill Gang live in their life. That's my responsibility. Not to the people, I'm a Sugarhill fan. No, I know you're there, and I appreciate you, and I love you, but I'm trying to get to that cat that's way over there in the cut who's never seen us live. I want him to understand what this is really about. And I want that girl who might have been listening to me from the time they was a teenager in high school and said, I was their favorite. I want her to be able to live that dream and say, I saw him finally and I heard him. And so you got a responsibility when you create something and put it out there. And that's what's beautiful about people who appreciate their responsibility, like yourself.
Thank you, man. Especially if you catch lightning in a bottle, like how y'all did, man. Let me tell y'all something. I look at y'all like the movie Prometheus, if you can understand what I'm saying. Y'all was the engineer dudes, man, who when he opened up the little can and he struck that shit and he just melted into the sea. Then all of a sudden he created all the life. I mean, honestly, when it came to what we doing, we all are part of every one of our DNAs. And I will say that we had kind of a edge, a super edge. Y'all, that's why we look at y'all so amazingly, because y'all were the architects. We had an edge. We was able to study y'all. Like, what was y'all studying? You see what I'm saying? That's just like you know, that's the thing that puzzles and baffles, but also keeps me intrigued and young about this in the first place. Because I always, and even when we were creating Jurassic 5 songs, I could say, we were always like, look, if we're gonna make these songs or any song, we got to make them last as long as songs like Rappers Delight. You know what I'm saying? And then we went deeper than that, like long as the Earth, Wind and Fire songs, long as Stevie Wonder songs, long as the songs that you could put these songs on way after these people are gone. We want to make songs like that. And I appreciate y'all for making something like that. Period. You know what I mean? For real.
You guys
y'all
have
seeded the planet.
The great taste of being able to transform sound, not being stuck in a box. Sometimes you get stuck in a sample box and you stay with that same clinky, and then you bring the dirt back and you got that old SP sound and you travel to that thing. But you guys are not afraid. Like, you go all to the left. That was that Casa, the Spanish joint.
It was a Brazilian joint. I told you.
Yeah. Oh my God. You go with it on that one. That was like, man, that's what I'm talking about. And then being able to flow on top of that and go with it, because like I said, everybody doesn't, they'll kind of stay with the same box. That turn left or that quick turn right, bro.
Let me ask you this question. And then I'm gonna flip it on you. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to ask any question you
got two,
want
so let's go.
Or whatever questions you want, because I'm finding this out as we're doing this, that there are so many things that people don't know about that time. You know what I mean? In that period. And so I'm going to give you that chance. So how is it that you were able, and like Henry, you started the question, but we're gonna finish it. How were you able to go underground, but also still enjoy the mainstream success? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to get to that. So once we put that 12-inch record out, we went on about our own business. We were still working jobs. I was a security guard, you know what I'm saying? One of my boys was still at the record label. It was like everything, selling incense, shirts, all that kind of stuff we was doing. Right. So we were walking around America doing that. And we started making songs together. Instead of just doing that one song, we said, let's make some more songs. So we made about 6 songs. We had a homegirl named T-Love. She got a distribution deal, but she couldn't fulfill the whole of the distribution deal. They asked for 2 EPs and 2 singles. She had enough for 1 EP and 1 single, so she asked us if we had enough songs. We was like, yeah, let's do it. So we got a DBA. We put it all together. We did a joint venture with her label, which was Pickaninny, and our label, which was Rumble. We just put it all together. So it was like Rumble Pickaninny Records presents her EP and our EP. And our EP was the first EP that everybody knows about, the Jurassic 5 EP with the so that was that. So we put that out with her in America, and it was doing a little bubbling here and there, but nobody really was checking. Somebody had called us for a show in 1997 overseas. So we went over there to do the show. There was a festival called Fresh 97 in Folkestone, England. You know what I'm saying? Out in Kent, where the old people retire at, right? But it was, because it's right there by the water and across the water from France and all that, it was accessible to all the other European countries. So it was a big old festival, everything hip, all of the hip hop, everything, right? So much so they had Kaz, Donna Rock, recipes, Special K, Charlie Chase, and I'm forgetting this one other person, and they were like the old school review, right? They got together and they was doing routines from everybody's. It was really, really dope, right? So stuff like that, everything. We got a chance to go out there. We're thinking, he heard maybe the song, or I don't know, how they heard about us, whatever. But we put together this 30-minute show that was like really tight that we thought at the time. Went out there, we was doing these songs. We doing them. People was liking the show, this and the third. But when we did that Unified Revolution song, which was the song that we passed out, somehow it got overseas and we knew nothing about it. We did that. 3,000 people went stupid. And we was like, dude. So we get off the stage, people rushing us. We were selling mixtapes. It was just crazy, right? We was like, damn, this is nice. We get back home, once again, nothing. Now, me and Cut Chemist were also doing, playing in another band called Ozo Motley. That's a whole nother story. We can talk about that in a second. But we were doing that too. And so we back at home. I'm gigging with them and, working a job and gigging with Jurassic and putting stuff together. And that's when a distribution company called Play It Again Sam in Europe called us and asked us to let them distribute that EP. But they said, add a couple more songs, make it special for us. Bam. They did that. They gave us money to do a video and a single, the song Concrete Schoolyard. Now, these songs hit the chord of everybody who didn't, in my opinion, didn't really relate to what was going on with gangster rap. Okay. You guys travel, so I used to always trip and say to myself, when you in England and you're dealing with a police force who don't normally, unless you're a terrorist, carry guns, right? They got hands. They'll put some hands on it. You know what I'm saying? Right? If they don't carry guns, then how can they understand an American gun culture? You understand what I'm saying? So I honestly felt like they got turned off by that. And when we came, paying homage to you guys, as well as returning the favor that y'all gave to us, you know what I'm saying? Doing the music that we do, you know what I'm saying? People, it was a breath of fresh air to those who, hadn't experienced something like that and also just was looking for something other than what was popular at the moment. You know what I'm saying? So it really popped in England really hard, way more than it did in the States. So the little status that we had in the States, we kind of kept that status, and got known for our show more than our songs up until we finally did What's Golden. And that song kind of cracked a way for us. But for the most part, it put us through, But for the most part, I think that kept our underground status. And then the status in the UK stayed the same because they was like, see, we got these dudes, they're champions, but they don't have to sell out. That's how they was looking at it. And we was like, we just doing the music we like. You know what I'm saying? So,
ain't it crazy how the UK, man, embraces us, man, musically? It's incredible, man. I told this story before. The first time I went to England was in the early 80s, and so we're in some town, I don't know what town it was, and we get ready to do the gig, and I hear, and this is now we in the 80s now, so we now Ohio players, and all of this Fatback Band, all of that. I mean, so that was the music, and I'm a teenager, so this is my music, and I'm expecting to hear that, and I'm hearing all the music that my mother was listening to. I hear all of the R&B, doo-wop, all of that coming out of the clubs, and I was like, wow, wait a minute, man, this is wild. This is 80s. So now we go into, the 90s and the 2000s, and we go over there and they blown up our saving grace when we first came back to put this thing together, 2005, was Europe. It was England. It was England, it was France, it was Germany. I mean, between 2005 and 2010, we spent predominantly most of our time in Europe.
I said,
We
thank
was-
you, Lord.
He was right there with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we was
Right there
right
with
behind.
us.
Y'all remember we was right behind y'all on every show. We was right
And
behind
every
you.
show,
Yes,
right.
yeah.
This was on the show. That's what I was saying.
Everywhere we would go, y'all was getting ready to come.
Or
know
right
what I
behind
mean?
y'all. Yeah,
Right
Or
behind
right behind us, right?
Yep, I remember that.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So I have an affinity to Europe, and I especially have that for the UK because they have been so welcoming and so fashion forward, if you will, when
Right.
it comes to understanding the power again of this gift. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because to them, they treat it like a gift, man.
Yeah,
That's
man.
the way
They
they
really
treat
do.
it.
Yeah, man.
They
It's so
treat it
true.
like not taking anything away from America, because America is America, but they don't treat it. We got a fan base here in America. There's no question. I mean, Sugarhill Gang is a global group. There's no question.
Mhm.
So it's not a place we can't play. You know what I mean? But the fact remains, man, that a lot of times it's amazing how much love is given to the American artist. And I've come up with this thing too. I think part of the reason is because an American artist in America is much more accessible than an American artist in Europe. You follow me?
Yeah.
Okay. So like if I'm in Paris, if I'm in France, and I'm listening to Sugarhill Gang, and I grew up listening to Sugarhill Gang. I'm 59 years old, and I've been listening to Sugarhill Gang since they first came out, and I live in Lyon, France. Okay. Now, the likelihood of seeing Wonder Mike live on stage, an American hip hop artist that I've been listening to since I was a kid, is almost virtually unheard of.
Exactly.
Hello?
Yep.
Is everybody there?
Yeah.
So when Wonder Mike is now getting ready to come to Lyon, France, or let's say Marseille, because we did a show in Marseille not too long ago. That guy now is like, oh my God, This is incredible. Whereas if I'm going to fly out of here tomorrow and do a show in Cleveland, the guys be like, hey, dude, I could possibly, you used to have a house out here. So, I mean, not that I'm not a Sugarhill Gang fan, but so I think that has a lot to do with the love that you get when you go to these different places, because it's much harder to see, Chali 2na, than in France than it is, in America on Blase Smitty Summerfest joint. You know what I mean?
I totally agree with you, man. And what's crazy is like prior to the internet, you know what I'm saying? It's exactly what you were saying. It was like they appreciate the fact that we'll take that trip and come out there to even get him some love. You know what I'm saying? And if you couldn't like type up on the internet and know that, the concert is it, or what I'm saying, it's easier to connect with the person and understand exactly what they're gonna do next. They was waiting on, what I'm saying, some kind of
advertisement.
Thinking an advertisement in a magazine or something that says that you guys were gonna come, or anybody.
A poster on a wall, a poster on up in your joint.
Yeah, calling a local venue trying to see, what I'm saying, who's next? Who's coming next? So yeah, man, I think I used to always say that the UK and abroad, period, treats our music like a good book and wants to share it with their best friends in a way that even if they had to go buy the book so that their friends could hear it or read it, they would do so. Whereas here in America, we create the trends. We the trend designers. And I honestly think, being that we all brothers who have been able to travel overseas, we're spoiled, man. And we make the music and we make the stuff, and we be more so waiting on the next thing more than like appreciating what we already created. Something fabulous and world changing,
Hey, Charlie, I remember being in Spain and I think G, actually you came out that night, G, after the show. We wound up in a place in some old bar with some old dude, you know, behind a bar. Hen, you remember this? And
you talking about Seville. You talking about Seville.
Yep, he had albums all in the wall and a turntable. So, you know, of course, you know, we're like, hey, go play some music. So I'm expecting something to go kind of like completely left. My man started dropping Mandrill. I mean, he started dropping jewels, man. And we just sat there like, I'm in Spain in the middle of like goats and mountains. And
exactly.
Pulled out something that I cherish.
Exactly.
And then continued to do it through the rest of the night.
He was like, I got the collection.
Oh, man.
So Charlie, go ahead now. So go ahead. You got a couple of questions. Now, here's your opportunity to talk to the people that, you know, we were
talk to that guy.
Of this thing.
Talk to that guy.
Well, first and foremost, man, just going back to that last thing we were saying, like I always liken it to the jazz era too, man. I'll be watching some of the interviews and what like people like Quincy and them would say about those times and how, you know what I'm saying, people outside of America just appreciated the artistic aspect of what us as African Americans would create, you know what I'm saying? Between us and Latin America, we was like creating everything, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate and respect, and always, I even made an attempt to do an album with a big breakbeat DJ called Crafty Cuts out there, just to give back to the UK because they gave us so much love. They created our career. Them two plaques you see in the background is UK plaques. You know what I mean? So
there you go.
Enough love to them to the max. Okay, now one of my questions for the Sugar Hill Gang is this: how many records in total have you guys sold, man?
Wow,
that one record. Is everybody got that record. So I'm trying to figure that out.
Okay. Reportedly, it sold over 10 million copies. And that was what? When I first got that was what, 2005, y'all? When I got that information.
Bet you Roger figure that out.
Yeah.
Somebody lying to y'all, G. Somebody lying to y'all.
No.
Everybody got that record, man.
That was 2005. I said reportedly.
Okay.
That was 2005. Now this is 2020. So it's in the tens of millions that we've sold, you know, worldwide. I mean, and then you got the Sugar Hill Gang album. You got Apache. You got Eighth Wonder. You got, you know, all of that. You got the Living in the Fat. So we've sold. You know, we got a few numbers on that poll, brother.
You have to have, because I remember just in 79 alone, I lived out of B. Wells Projects, moved over to Lawless Garden, south side Chicago. Everybody in both of those areas, if you had a turntable, you had your record. I'm digging through, boom, they got that blue record. All right, cool. Everybody had that record. So I always wondered that. I was like, man, later for the M&Ms and all them dudes who so I said, man, Rappers Delight had to sell something super. You know what I mean?
CT, just to add on to that, I remember when Big Joe got the idea of, he created a box set, you know, of all the artists that was on the Sugar Hill label, and that sold over 500,000 copies.
Yo, I got that box set, as a matter of fact. I got that box set.
The man was so smart. He took the box set and sent it to every producer on the on the hub, like a free shot of heroin.
Right.
Joe Robinson
came back on the Black Lodge.
Right. So here it is, sample it. Here it is, sample it.
Joe Robinson was the head of Sugar Hill Records, for people who don't know. Just FYI, Joe Rob. Shout out to Joe Robinson and
that's Sylvia's son, right?
That's Sylvia's husband. Joey Jr. is the namesake of Joe Sr. So that was probably the person that you ran into and you saw moving around, whatever the case may be. But Joe Sr. and Sylvia Robinson, they're the ones that created, which first was All Platinum Records, that evolved into Sugar Hill Records. And of course, All Platinum had the moments, Love on a Two-Way Street, Look at Me, I'm in Love. That yes. She produced and wrote those songs, which eventually evolved into You got to be a special lady. Ray Goodman and Brown. Yes.
Yep.
Wow, man, that's
just
crazy.
Yeah, man.
To just give you an idea of what they got going on, the New York song, that's New York, Jay-Z and Alicia Keys. The sample "Love on a Two-Way Street" is Sylvia's song.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Sylvia.
Yeah.
That's Sylvia. That's "Love on a Two-Way Street."
That's dope.
Yeah,
That's like full circle right there. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
exactly.
man. I mean.
So go ahead.
Sugarhill Records, man. It was back. Should have been the Motown of hip hop.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Henry, and I'm gonna say something. Now I'm gonna cut you off. Hold on, Charlie. I want to just because you got a question that I know you want to ask. You know what, man? I think we got to stop saying it should have been. It was to a point. You follow what I'm saying? Like, it was the Motown of hip hop to the point where it could have went from and again, this is just being around everybody and thinking. You remember when Motown went from Detroit to LA?
Mm-hmm.
You remember when they transitioned? Like they were in LA and they cut all those records, and Smokey and Stevie and all of them was going over there because they was all coming out of the projects, and Diana Ross and all of that. They was there. That was Sugar Hill. We was all coming from the local, like Mel and them came over the bridge. It was a 15-minute ride from the Bronx. You see what I'm saying? Spoonie, all of them, me, Mike, everybody came in. We just didn't go from Detroit to LA. You follow what I'm saying? It didn't go that way. That's what happened there, and it was just so much controversy paid to it. But it was definitely the Motown, we're going to call it early Motown, Hitsville. As a matter of fact, for a period of time, and a lot of y'all don't even know this, when they were changing the name because it was all platinum before they turned it to Sugar Hill Records, they used to, when you called up, they used to say Home of the Hits. That was the name. That was the way that they answered the phone, because they didn't have a name for it. They was going through a whole lot. So that's what they call it, the Home of the Hits. So that's just a little side story.
That's crazy because, anytime you was looking for any, especially at that time, I know, and for years to come, decades to come, anything that was on that label, we didn't even ask questions. He just grabbed it. You know what I mean? It was just one of them things.
Motown. Same thing like Motown. Same way. You see that Motown, that's that Detroit thing, that little MOT, it, whatever it was. And they had their own display in the record shop. As a matter of fact, I used to actually go into record shops and say, okay, where's and there was always, a wall of blue. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Yeah, y'all held it down, man. Okay, my other question was this, man. Have you guys in the long career that you have you guys ever actually done a performance with Sheik?
Yes.
Yes.
Who I would love to see that.
I was just, what, y'all, I'm gonna tell you what the crazy situation is right now. I was just, when I was looking at I was doing a lot of research on the people today. We did a chick earlier before you, Akua Naru. We just did her. And so I was looking on the YouTube. I know you're not supposed to call it the YouTube. Everybody tells me that. YouTube.
Not how it goes.
Yeah.
It's not the YouTube. It's
YouTube. Not how it goes.
Yeah, right. Anyway, so I pulled up Henry and Diamond. I pulled up Sugar Hill. Sheik performs Rapper's Delight with Nile Rodgers in Bryant Park.
Oh, with the Roots.
Yes. So here's the scenario. Here's the scenario, Charlie. Again, this is the research, the reverb, the revamp of Sugar Hill, our version, Wonder Mike, Master G, original Sugar Hill Gang, started in 2005. So that version is the version that you're dealing with right now. So right around, I guess it was 2000. I forgot the date, but anyway, we got a call from from the agency. What's that agency, Henry? Pyramid? Was it Pyramid? What's my man? Universal. So they say, Niall is doing this show, Bryant Park's the Roots Picnic. Remember the Roots? The Roots Picnic?
Yes, sir.
The Roots Picnic, and they moved it to Bryant Park. And they said, well, Niall is on there, and this is the way that I'm getting information. Niall's on there, and he's going to do, good times, and of course, you're going to do rappers like, of course, Niall does it in every show, and they want to know if y'all want to do it. I'm like, hell yeah, we gonna do it. I mean, and for me, again, because a lot of this is my awakening, I hadn't connected with. I saw Niles at a party in 80. I saw him at a party in Connecticut. Okay, that was the one and only time that I had seen Niles in the whole time that it was going on. We ended up at this industry party, and we spoke to each other briefly. It was a really weird time. It was awkward. We had a little to say to each other, and I never saw him again. So the next time that I saw, y'all don't even know this. The next time that I actually saw Niles and had a conversation with him was minutes before we got ready to go on stage that night at Bryant Park.
Wow, that's crazy.
So from when it first came out, to when it was just kind of to what had happened, you know, this whole thing based on that, you know, first to then, that much had happened in between when I had seen him the first time, and I saw him the last time. So that was kind of electric. So if you look at the performance, because it is on YouTube, if you look at the performance, there's a little bit of an interaction with me and Now, and it's because we finally, this is like the first time that we were able to enjoy this record together.
Together.
Because of course, you know, the situation, everything that went on with it, the history, the whatever, the blah, 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 that went on. And then his evolution, I'm sure. And then of course, my evolution, the love, the hate, the love, the hate, the love, you know, and then finally here we were, and we were on stage. It was Bryant Park. The place was packed. The Roots was playing. We're doing this song. It's New York City. And I finally had that chance to say in my life that I was able to have that moment with him where we experienced the same thing that this gift has given us. Again,
right.
With the people that we gave it to, you know?
That's crazy, man. Because okay, now, here's a part of that. Mama, can you buy this record for me? What record is that? That's the hip hop hippie record. Oh, wait. That's that record. That ain't. Come on, Charlie. That ain't really like real music. You want to hear the record that they got that from is this, right? And I'm like, I know, Ma, but that ain't what I want. I want this record. So I'm always trying to think, you know, especially in my time when I came out from Beastie Boys to De La Soul, having like super duper sample problems. You guys, thinking back to you guys, how?
It was weird, man.
Can you talk about that? Is that possible?
Absolutely.
That?
Well, see, here's the long and the short of that. First of all, it's not a sample. That's the first thing.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But what did they think when they heard it?
Well, and unfortunately, the beginning aspect of it didn't go well. They didn't do the proper procedures going into it initially. But of course, after it went on, and you know, it was dealt with. You know, so there was that's one of the reasons why, unfortunately, sometimes people don't understand that the names on the song changed. You know what I mean? And the reason why, exactly. And so but again, and then what part of the reason our resurgence and part of our repair is because we've been able to do a lot of the behind the scenes wheeling and dealing to put the world in the right perspective. Because also too, in the beginning, you know, a young man who, you know, really didn't know anything about the music business and, you know, writing song, I had no clue what was going on, because I'm 17 years old, and I'm like the hottest thing since in fish grease, you know, and so they come to me and say, "Oh, we got a problem." I'm like, I don't care about no problem, you know. I don't see no problem, you know. Now I get older, and you know, I become a man, and I start having a family, and this and that and other thing, and I'm like, well, why isn't it? And then, so yeah, so that's just
and CT is funny that you that you brought that up, because right before this pandemic hit, I was actually in talks with Universal about us going on tour with Now.
Oh,
yeah,
that would have been so, man. God willing, this pandemic leave, man. I'm gonna be the first one at that. That's
that's gonna be a good show because there's so much. I mean, like, and that was like a snidbit. The thing that we did at Bryant Park was a snidbit. We didn't even really do it like we could really do it. You know, it was like we're gonna do this and y'all gonna do this, and as a matter of fact, it was even a bridge version because it went from like the beginning of Mike's rap, and then we couldn't even do the part that Hen does with Hank because it was only a certain amount of time. So we jumped from that to my rap. You know, and then I didn't even finish the rap. You know, we just kind of went into something else. But so any more questions?
Let me see. Okay. Aside from your peer group at the time, you know, from like Flash and them, like who did you? No, I won't say aside from you, including, but who was your favorite rapper? Like he was like, hey, that dude right there can't front. You know, y'all Sugar Hill. I want to know who y'all thought was the dope dude or the dope guy.
You want to know the truth? You want to know the real deal?
Yes.
Melly Mel. Let me tell you something. Now this is real talk. I mean, Mel, I love Mel now. I mean, you know, we because they were from the Bronx. And you know, we were Jersey, and they were the Bronx, and they were a little uptight when it first happened because they felt like they should have been the ones to go out when they first came over to. And then the other thing with them was I was the teen idol, and you know, I had all the flame and the glamour and the girls and the whole 9 yards, and they didn't really feel like it was just deserved. So there was a lot of friction when they first came over. But there was one thing in my case that was always the truth. When I first heard them. And I first saw them, I was like, oh, snap. And then, because they were singing and they was dancing and they had steps. See, like me, Mike, and Hank, we were a group, but we were a group of 3 different guys. That's why our music is so individual. See, the people don't really understand that. They like, they was manufactured. No, we weren't manufactured. We were contrived, but we were 3 different individuals. So we recorded that way. We recorded as 3 different individuals. Now, it got to a point where Mike and I started coming together because we started writing most of the songs. So most of the lyrics came because of Mike and I collaboration. But Mel and Scorp and Cowboy, God rest his soul, and Creole and Raheem and Flash, they came as a group. And you could tell right off the rip that they was a group, man, which was amazing to see that. And then the other thing, why I'd say Mel has always been my favorite, to this day still is my favorite, is I started because I'm a songwriter. I'm writing rhymes and I'm writing songs. I got some good writing skills, man. I wrote the song 12 o'clock one Friday night, rapping to the beat, feeling all right. Everybody dancing on. I'm good. I can write some songs. I can write some rhymes. Yo, Melly Mel. Start writing these rhymes. I was like I said, to this day, and I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story. So we were rehearsing in England. We are over in England. And y'all remember this. So we did the Formula One. We did the Singapore Formula One. We do a whole live show. We do a live show where we all play instruments, and so we got a DJ show, and then we transition into a live show. So we got this beat, and we in England in the rehearsal studio. And so the ideal is, and Mel and Scorp and them is going to be on the show with us. So we come up with this idea where the way we transition from the turntables to the live thing is I play this drum beat. So I get the crowd going. I'm gonna say, and I play like well, let me see if I know, make something happen. So I get on the drums, I start rocking, rocking funky, right? Well, Mel was like, okay, well, let me see if I can come up with something to, go along with this. Now we literally in this rehearsal thing, right? He's sitting over there. You remember this? He's sitting over there, just sitting over there, sitting over there, sitting over there. He said, okay, I'm good. I'm ready. I start playing the beat. He ripped out this whole thing. That Whoa, you remember that song, Whoa? That song, yeah. This song, he started doing this song, like, and the thing he was saying, and and he did it. He was just, like I said, literally, he was just sitting there listening to the music, and then he come up, and he just rocked it. Just ripped it, man. Melly Mel, man.
Yeah, man. CT, man.
Dope,
I've had a lot of conversations with cats, man, about, who they think is the best MC is. And Mel, if he ain't number one, he's always in the top three. It's always Mel, it's always Biggie, it's always Tupac, it's always Tupac,
Rakim.
And Rakim. Yeah, I can't leave out Rakim. Yep. He's
Mel,
always in the top 5 somewhere, man.
Mel.
And then
I'm gonna tell you the other one, my other favorite, and I'm going further now. This is during my when I tell people that I had my quiet time, my quiet time when I was just watching everybody was Biggie. And when I say about Biggie is this, man, the work again, the frequency of the voice and the wordplay, the frequency of the voice and the wordplay, and the rhythms, right? You know what I'm saying? Right. Those rhythms, man. Right. The riffs. Yeah. I mean, if you just didn't even listen to the words of Biggie, right, and just listen to the wordplay the way he plays with the rhythms and the frequencies of the voices, you know. Oh my.
Mm-hmm. I always tell my dudes that like Biggie is able to turn. He'll be driving the car. If Biggie was driving the car, he'll turn the corner before you know it. He'll turn this corner and then turn the other one. You're like, yo, like you didn't expect those corners to go. Yeah,
where'd he go? And then, but be flowing, but flow the whole time. You know, but he turned and you'd be like, did he just say that? Oh my God! You know, like wow. I had epiphany with him too, man, because I had heard him and I'd been listening and it was on, but I never really paid attention. And then I started. I don't know. I might have been like you. I was riding in the car somewhere or something. I don't know what it was. And one of the songs came on, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, oh my God. So man. Man.
I'm so glad you said Mel too, because man, I got a scar on my right foot. And I call that my hip hop scar, but I call that my Melly Mel scar. And it becomes that simply because the day that they released the message in the shower, we used to everybody was trying to like be a ball player. You know what I'm saying? So we used to be out at it was a Paul Lawrence Dunbar High School was in the middle of our neighborhood. So we used to go to the courts, the outdoor courts, and rain, sleet, snow. If it was snowing, we'd shovel the snow off the court to play ball. But if it, summertime, everybody was like, I got next, blah blah blah. Somebody had a transistor radio out there, and I had on a pair of Pro Kids. I'm sitting on the stairs, and I'm doing toe lifts, trying to get my calves all straight. You know what I'm saying? Hey, right? So I'm like doing toe lifts and shit. And then the message comes on. I'm in the middle of listening to every word this dude says because he is talking about where I'm living in the projects. He's talking about where I'm living. I'm not, now, you guys, it was fun to me. Y'all made it superhero-like for me. It was like, I got all this. Y'all don't understand how cool I am, right? Mel tapped me on the shoulder and was like, okay, meanwhile, son, come on over here because, you live right there in that house I'm talking about. You got to walk through them pissy hallways that I'm talking about. You gotta, everything that he said had me so entranced, I slipped off the stair. Cheap ass Pro Kids, it was a thick piece of glass, went straight through my shoe into my foot.
Wow.
Right? About like that deep into my foot. And I'm a kid, but I'm not tripping. Sat down, continued to listen, folded my foot up, pulled that shit out, squeezed my toe, and kept listening to the song. Because I was like, this is the illest in the world. And still to this day, there's a scar right there. So, man, I regard him as one of my top.
And CT, he was a teenager when he wrote that.
Yeah, Child is Born. When he wrote A Child is Born. A child is born with no state of mind, blind to the ways of mankind. God is frowning on you, but he's smiling too, because only God knows what you'll go through. Who the hell writes something like that, man?
At 17. Exactly.
He wrote it as a teenager. Come on,
amazing, man. That's amazing. That is amazing. Man. Yeah, so for real. And I'm a youngster looking at him, so I don't look at it like that. Like, when he was doing all that, he was like grown to me. Like I was like, oh my God, this dude is God.
Like
you might as well say,
man,
he's a prophet. Saying some things,
and the brother still writes the same way and with the same prolificness. He even the jam that we were talking about, it started with 2 chords and a drum beat.
Right.
And by the time we finished with it,
Right.
the hook was brothers is on the corner. Cops ain't going to warn you. Looking at all the ladies, little babies having babies. Why you shooting on a corner? You know, I mean, like this the stuff that he was,
Right.
but it worked. And he was like, all right, Diamond, do this, and sing that hook right there. Bam. If you go on to YouTube and look at Sugarhill Gang Live in Singapore, you'll see that song.
Okay, I mean, hold on.
We
I'm just typing it in so I can do this after that. After we finish.
We did it on that show. We did it on that show by the water. We did it on that show by the water in Singapore in 2018. Yo, Charlie,
man, I want to say, before we even, I just want to say, man, the day that I was out there promoting the Crafty Cuts album, I was telling you about the Adventures of a Reluctant Superhero, the album that I was trying to get back to UK. If you got a chance, check it out. Blah blah blah. Me and Crafty Cuts being from the old school together, we was, that kind of like mind state. We was trying to put together this kind of show on this festival. Learned that we was gonna go on before the Sugarhill Gang. We was like, oh shit! Now, I had never seen you guys' show. You know what I'm saying? So I and had never like met anybody from the whole crew except for I met Mel years ago in Los Angeles at Water the Bush. Africa Islam introduced me to him, and I was lost. Like, oh my God, it's Billy Mel, right? And he kept calling him Muscle Simmons. I was laughing my ass off. What was I saying? Man,
talking about the performance. You talking about the performance, the performance.
Oh, about you guys' performance. So I was like saying to myself, okay, New York cats, man, they probably ain't, they gonna show up till later, East Coast, they'll probably be late, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They probably ain't gonna even get to see my show, but it's just an honor to be able to open for them. So I can mark this on my books. So I'm halfway in my show, I'm doing my thing, and there's a section where we really like take it old school, right? Call it the golden era is what we call that section of the show. So we go through everybody's little song, do our little renditions of it, and then from there we spill into stuff that I do from the Jurassic stuff, and then it goes from old to new, kind of to end off the show. But halfway in the show, I'm like in there, this, that, and the third, and I'm just like, damn, I wish, in my mind, I'm like, I wish these brothers is here. And I look over, and I was like, that's Melly Mel, that's Scorpio, that's, oh my God, I'm tripping. I almost messed up my whole show, fanboying out. I almost messed up my whole show, and I looked, because I said to myself, okay, if that is them out the court, like the peripheral. When I actually look and I see y'all rocking, I said it to myself after that show. I was like, okay, Crafty, I can quit now.
Was that the show y'all went to with De La Soul and all them, y'all? Is that show y'all talking about?
It was a festival.
No, we were doing a festival, Charlie. I remember that.
Yeah, what city was that though? I don't remember what city that was, but we was somewhere overseas.
This was a dry festival. We ain't had no mud.
Oh, yeah, God, it was a dry one. Yeah, but it was raining around that time. Y'all remember?
Right.
Yeah.
Yo.
That was that's my career highlight, right? That's one of my career highlights.
Right on, man. So again, listen, man, this is exciting. It's informative. It's relief. It's something that I can only say it's something that I can only say thank you for. But before we go, tell us the kidnap story. We heard that.
Hold on,
I'll get my red cup for that one. Hold
on. Yeah.
Okay, I thought to myself,
I set you up nice for that, didn't I?
Yeah, that was perfect. I'm telling you, Jake, look, I said to myself in my mind, I was like, okay, they ain't done with here about Kaz right now. But listen, okay. So this what happened. All right, 1997. That place that I was telling you about, that first festival, that was our first time ever going overseas. The Fresh 97 Festival. When we get there, I can say it was Kaz, it was Dada Rock, it was Special K on the mic. And there was one other person that I'm forgetting. I feel so bad that I'm forgetting, but I know Charlie Chase was DJing. And there was one other person, it was 5 of them. And they were doing, they would call themselves the Old School Review. After, like I told y'all, when we did our show and then we did a Unified Revolution and the crowd went crazy, I didn't realize until like we were walking off the stage and I looked over to the side that Kaz and Charlie Chase were standing there holding each other like this, like these dudes killed it. I was tripping like, whoa, this is crazy, right? So we were all staying in the same hotel. DJ Qbert. This is the first time I ever seen the Scratch Pickles. I just did a show with Qbert this weekend, as a matter of fact, in South Carolina. Whole nother story. So anyway, I don't know if he was drunk or whatever. He kept. He had Qbert. He kept slamming the door. We were all on the same floor, and he kept slamming the door. Blah, blah, blah. And we was tripping like, what the hell is going on? This, then the third. So I kept looking out the door, looking at Qbert, and he was actually filming something and acting stupid. Anyway, when Kaz saw me looking out the door, because his room was at the end of the hall, he saw me looking out the door. He was like, "Yo, Tuna." I was like, "What's up, man?" He was like, "Hey, man, I need you to do me a favor." I was like, "What's up, man?" He was like, "I need you to get all your fellas, man. Are they on this floor?" I was like, three of them on this floor. The other one's upstairs. He's like, "Get all your fellas, man, and come to the room, man. I want to smoke with y'all, man, and just talk to y'all about something." I'm like, I'm honored.
Right.
Hell yeah.
This Grandmaster
Call
Kaz.
everybody. Exactly. I call everybody. I'm like, yo. So everybody gather in my room. We all go to the Kaz room, right? So Kaz opens the door. We all walk in. This is crazy. I just thought about this. We all walk in, and when the door, we didn't look back until the door slams. Blah. When the door slams, we turn around. It's Special K behind the door. He pushes a bed in front of the door. Right? He pushes the bed in front of the door. I look over to it was like 4 beds in that room. Look over to the other side. Dada Rock sitting on the corner of the bed. That was a cool brother, man. Respected that brother. But he was sitting on the corner of the bed, like looking at us like this, like rubbing his fist like this. And Kaz was like, "All right, y'all. I seen what y'all did today. I was impressed. Y'all got to sit down, though. All of y'all." He was like, "Okay." Like we felt like we was in trouble. Like Daddy called, what's up? And he commences to going into the whole history of Cold Crush and y'all, his relationship to y'all and Hank, and he started telling us about like the upsides of being in the group, the things that you shouldn't do, the jealousy, the envy, saying from paying attention more. He's like, pay attention to the show. He was like, don't get lost in egotistical things, because we are rappers. We gonna be egotistical when we talk. But if you're in a group, it's about the show. Don't get lost in it being just you. All these different things like that. This dude basically laid down a lesson, but everybody was faded, and he was definitely him and Special K was they was drunk as mother. K was drunk. K was on super drunk. But he was dropping science on us, like left and right. He was telling us about Waterbed Kev, and he was telling us just all of the different things, and we was just sitting there like, fellas, do y'all realize that not only are we getting schooled about hip hop from the era that we love, but we getting schooled by, no disrespect to KRS, but this is the teacher right here. We're sitting with the dean of the whole. Yeah. This is it right here. Do y'all realize this? So that was like the most amazing thing, and I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna run back to my room real quick to get my." He's like, "You ain't going nowhere." And yo, son, they would not let us out that room. We stayed in that room till the sun came up. They would not let us out.
Wow.
Kaz had a big old bag of weed. He spilled it on he was like, "If you going anywhere, you don't need nothing." He was like, "I don't roll up, man." So I'm on roll up duty. I'm just like, "All right, man." And he's just telling a story after story after story. Wow. And I feel so blessed that happened. But I felt strange as it was. I was like, "Yo, we kidnapped right now." Out the room. This is crazy. So big up to Grandmaster Kaz forever, man. I love that brother, man.
Yeah. Yes, man. Yes, man. And with that, man, that's a great story. And I love Kaz. Kaz is so big. He's such a big personality. You know what I mean? He's so big, man. And he's so powerful. With that, though, man, I'm going to say to you that this is really an honor, man. And I thank you so much for coming on with us, man, and getting down. And I want to just let you know that, as I said, we are the tree, and the limbs come off the tree and the leaves are on the tree. But I want to officially, man, bring you in and give you the official induction into the Sugarhill Gang family, man.
Oh,
so you are
respect.
now, yeah, man, no, man, you are part of the family.
Part of the family. What up, Cuzzo?
Yes, sir. So welcome to
That's
the family,
what's up,
man. We
It
want
is
to
an
thank
honor,
you so
man.
When you
much,
hear me call you
man.
Cuzzo, you know what up now.
Right,
That's what
right.
it is.
So
That's
now,
what it is.
from now on, man, you Cuzzo. So when we see
That's
you,
what
we
it
like,
is,
what's up,
man.
Cuzzo? You know the
Love
deal.
y'all, man.
You know what's
Thank you
happening,
for that,
okay?
man. I really appreciate it, man. I'm
man.
honored, and I
right.
love y'all for even thinking about me, man. Thank you. Salute, cousin.
All right.
Salute.
All right, man.
Respect,
We're gonna get our team to come on, man. Vic and
Okay.
Rye, you guys hold tight, man. Hold tight.
All right, for sure, man. Thank you again, though, man, for sure. Man.
All right.
Wow.
Vic, so yeah, man. Yo, man. Like I said, you now, Cuzzo, you now part of the family, the Sugarhill Gang family. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on the show, man. I look forward to seeing you down the road, on the road, in the world. And
Yes,
once again, y'all, this is the Sugarhill Gang podcast, man. We love y'all for listening to us, man. We love y'all for loving us. We appreciate everything that's going on. We want to make sure that everybody's good and stays well and the whole 9 yards. And this is Master G, and I'm out. And I want to just say goodnight, Diamond.
Good night, Diamond.
Say goodnight, Hen Dog.
Boo.
Yes, boo. Say goodnight, Cuzzo. Say goodnight, China.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen, man. And thank you all for having me and even thinking about me, man. I appreciate it, man.
And this is the Sugarhill Gang Podcast. And your boy, Master G. We love you.
Respect.
We thank you. Peace, y'all. And we are out.